got my incredibly sharp nail file, so don't piss me off or I'll stab you. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cheap Smut. My name is Katie Mizell.
And my name is Carl Mizell.
And this is a podcast about reading smutty books and being funny, maybe.
Hopefully. I mean, comedy is subjective, but we are very funny.
We think we're funny. And that's all that matters. How are you, my love?
Bushed. You?
Yeah. Not as bushed, but I didn't have to teach a bunch of 5- and 6-year-olds how to play t-ball tonight, so...
Well, yeah. You didn't have to try.
No.
Again, you know the joke about, herding cats? I'd rather herd cats than 5- and 6-year-olds. It was...
Oh, yeah. I mean, at least you can kind of get cats to behave with like a can of tuna.
Yeah, get a laser pointer. Something. Anything. These kids, good kids, great kids. Parents are super chill and very appreciative of the fact that I threw myself on that grenade.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to.
Yeah.
But again, it seems like for the last couple of episodes, my voice is shot between trying to, again, shout at 5- and 6-year-olds and shout over 5- and 6-year-olds for an hour, and then all the dust, and it's very dry in Michigan right now. So apologies in advance. I am trying to lubricate the throat best I can.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, but I'm not going to make it.
Yeah. All right. Shall we begin?
Yeah, man. No need for small talk. We've done 2 episodes on this book. We've got a 3rd and final episode on A Soul to Keep by Opal, Reyne. Pitter patter.
Let's get at her. All right. As Carl just said, this is the 3rd and final installment in our series on A Soul to Keep by Opal, Reyne. Some new trigger warnings for this week include sex, so much sex, rough and tumble sex, abduction, captivity, abusive relationships, past tense, murder, and death of a major character.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Big time.
We're going there.
We're
going there.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But to begin, first things first, I have a correction for you.
Oh.
My love, I misread last week when I gave you the description of Orpheus's cock.
We have a cock correction.
Cock correction. Last week I said that Raya's fingers could barely touch when she put them around his dick.
Oh, God, I can't believe this is what we're correcting.
What I meant to say was Raya's hands barely touched when she puts them around his dick. And I don't want to go on another rant about giant dicks in books.
Yeah.
Because people who've already listened to the show have already heard me rant about it at least twice.
Yeah.
I hate the social ideal of having a giant dick.
Yeah.
The sexual ideal of having just like the biggest, stack of Coke cans that'll swing between your legs.
Mm-hmm. The unwieldiest.
Yeah. I'm not particularly a size queen. I don't understand it. The average human penis is between 5 and 7 inches or something like that.
It's just over 5 inches erect.
And they get the job done. And I don't see why they need to be bigger.
No, the most, in terms of penetrative sex, penis vagina sex, the most sensitive parts of the vagina are just inside.
Yeah. I mean, the cervix is a very sensitive area.
Yeah.
But also that bitch retreats.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody's going to be able to reach it, and that's fine. Your G-spot is like 2 inches inside.
Yeah, it's right there.
That's where we need to be focusing, right?
Yep.
Right? Vagina havers, do you agree with me?
I can hear them agreeing.
I fucking hope you do. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, the idea of, again, just this, something about the size of your hydro flask there.
Seriously.
Yeah, like that, literally. Like that.
Bigger, even.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's insane. Why would you put that in your body?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I know a baby can come out of it, but do you know how painful that process is?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so I even put in my notes, do not rant, but sorry, notes, I failed.
I promised I wouldn't rant. Promise broken.
Promise broken. Let's just get the baby monitor set up so I can see my kids. Okay. A couple more things to point out here. We have some extra eye colors to put in just for fun. I'm not going to spend a lot of time harping on them, but there's also white, which is fear, and like a reddish pink, which is embarrassment. It's like blushing. I think it's so cute.
That's funny.
Okay, so tiniest bit of backstory. So we've got Raya, our human, Orpheus, our Duskwalker, and they are currently on the road traveling to the Demon City with Tom, the other Mavka, the other Duskwalker, who doesn't actually have a name. I just named him Tom because they need a bunch of shit that's in the Demon City.
Yeah.
We are fast approaching the Demon City, and I was very excited to get to this part of the book, and I was correct to be excited because the Demon City is cool as shit, and we will get to it. But first, at some point on their travels to the Demon City, Raya is like contemplating the world.
Mm-hmm.
The world.
The enormity of the world.
And what it might be like if demons hadn't come through the portal 300 years ago and forced humans into a survival system that halted their progress. And that's when I learned that this is Earth. This is alternative Earth.
Okay.
And that's cool to me. I like it. It's fun.
I love alternate timelines. And
yeah.
I mean, one of my all-time favorite television shows is Community.
Yeah.
And the very famous Darkest Timeline episode, which I can't remember the name of the episode. They're all like riffs on the names of college courses. But that's one of my favorite episodes because how well they did like the alternate timelines, what could have happened simply because of dice rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And literally like what they were, because of the result of a dice roll. That's what could have happened. So I love, you and I are both big fans of speculative fiction.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan. I'm really glad that multiverses are having a moment right now.
Multiverses are cool. They're so cool in theory, and there's so much you can do with them. Yeah.
I love the idea that there's other versions of me out there, other versions of you, other versions of our kids. The idea that it could be a thing. I love it. So you got my attention.
Yeah. Okay. So specifically, Raya was considering what the world might be like if electricity were perfected, which makes me think that this is approximately present day because the demon portal opened 300 years ago and they were just starting to work on electricity, like just starting to conceive of electricity when the demon portal opened.
But then Tesla had to go and be better than Edison and open a fucking portal to hell.
It wasn't actually a human that opened the portal. But if any human were to open a portal to hell, it would probably be Nikola Tesla. And he would do it on accident, trying to invent something really cool.
Yeah, I know the timelines don't
They don't.
They don't overlap.
Doesn't matter. Good joke.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so let's get into this Demon City. So the Demon City is situated under a canopy of magical gigantic trees that cover the entire thing in darkness at all times. So day or night, it is a safe place for demons to roam and not be burned in the sunlight. To the outskirts of the city and overlooking the city is a giant castle, and that castle belongs to the Demon King. There's a Demon King, and he's the one who opened the portal and brought the demons to this realm.
Do the demons use a king?
No, they don't use a king. So inside of the city, it's all lit by torches. There's color and music and life everywhere. It is a bustling urban metropolis of demons. Raya spends the entire time with the little deer skull on her head that Orpheus got for her. So everyone thinks that she is a female Mavka, a thing that they've never seen before.
Oh boy.
So they just sort of they leave them alone because the Mavka are universally feared by basically everyone. They go to
I don't want to, but did not one of them think most of the Duskwalkers are over 7 foot tall? That one's 5'6".
That's why they thought she was female, because she was small.
But that much smaller, like almost 2 feet smaller.
Well, nobody knows much about the Duskwalkers. They just assume that she's a female because she's different than the big males that they see with her.
Yeah, and plus demons are only as smart as the amount of humans they've eaten, I suppose.
That's true.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair.
They're smart-ish. They do their best. They're lovely. All the demons in the city that they meet are pretty darn cool. But, I mean, I don't know what their logic skills are in the long run.
Fair point.
So mostly what they're here to do is shop. And that's what they do. So they go to a clothing store and they get clothes for Tom and they buy a dress for Raya, and they go to the food market and they buy basically every kitchen staple that Orpheus doesn't already have. And then they go to basically demon Home Depot to get a bunch of supplies for Tom to start building his own cabin. And they go to like a street food area, and Raya tries to find something to eat, but that's really hard because most of what they serve in the city is made of human meat.
I was going to say it's probably almost exclusively human.
Yeah. But eventually they do find something that's made of like beef and potatoes, and she can get something to eat. But she is like vaguely horrified that all these stalls are serving this delicious looking food made with human meat. I'm mostly wondering where they got it from, because they are deep inside the Vale. They are like 5 days walk into the Vale. Where the fuck are they getting these people? Who knows?
They got a guy.
I didn't ask questions. I'm asking questions now, but I didn't ask questions then. While they're at Fantasy Home Depot, Raya is distracted by a woman in white, the only other human that she's seen anywhere near this place, and so she starts following her until eventually, like, she and Orpheus have this fight about her leaving, and then she's like, I'm going anyway, you can follow me or not, I don't care. And she follows her into a bookshop where she finds a big pile of white feathers and realizes that this is the witch owl who's been leading her around.
Oh.
So the witch owl makes a return, and she finds 3 books that the witch owl has specifically marked for her.
It ends with us. Something
50 Shades of Grey.
And then something by Brene Brown.
No. Brene Brown. Fuck. Okay. So there is a book of sword fighting techniques. A book of children's stories with the specifically marked The Beauty and the Beast is marked in the book, which is just like we're just saying the subtext out loud now. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, so yeah. And then the third book is a book of magical creatures, both fictional and real.
Yeah.
Just kind of to give Raya an idea of what she's dealing with, basically.
Yeah.
And while she's
it's like Beauty and the Beast if we saw the Beast's hog.
Yeah. I was an adult before I found out that there were other girls who thought that she should have just stuck with the big buffalo guy, not had him turn back into a man.
Yeah.
So
that really informs where we're sitting right now. You can draw a straight line from that moment to this moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Right now. So there would be some precedents for seeing the Beast's hog. Ugh, hog. I don't like it. Why did I say it?
Because shout out to the Get Played crew. The preferred nomenclature for penis on that show is hog, and that's all I was listening to driving around the sticks today. So
okay.
I got hog on the brain.
That's funny.
I got hog brain.
You got hog brain. Anyway, while she's in the bookshop, the demon who runs the bookshop approaches her because he realizes that she's human, because she makes like human sounds instead of demon sounds, and he's like, you're a human, I love humans because humans invented books and I love books so much. And I was like, be my best friend forever, demon who looks like a cat.
Can I take an Ussie?
You're a cat who can talk and loves books. We are best friends. We are best friends.
Would it be wrong if I touched your belly?
Oh, can I see your beans?
Can I see your little belly?
Can I see your toe beans? Anyway,
No,
that's weird. Don't ask that. So he asks her to pull her mask up and make faces at him so that he can see what human faces look like, because he's only ever read them in books. And it was the most charming scene. When Orpheus comes back to get her, as they leave, she turns around and she winks at him. And he goes, a wink. Oh, my God. I was like, oh, protect him at all costs. I love him so much.
I'm going to call you Cinnamon Roll.
The last thing they do before they leave town is they go to the sewist's shop and they get a bunch of material and dye and needles and stuff so that Raya can make her own clothes, like really make her own clothes. And then they head back out of town again. They can't stay for long. Orpheus doesn't want to stay for long because she's not safe there. On the way home, the walk is mostly uneventful. It's 4 days. It's incredibly boring. And now Orpheus and Tom are both loaded down with all of the shit they bought while they were there.
Retail therapy went a little too far.
Yeah. So she's like clinging to Orpheus's side, like all the shit. She was sitting on his back on the way here, and on all the shit's on his back now. So she's like under his, exactly how I carry the 2-year-old around.
You think you're tough when you're just trying to get all the groceries in one trip up the stairs,
right?
Orpheus
Tom's dragging back at least half of a cabin. Oh, I think she also found him a book on how to build how to build houses.
Wow.
And he was like, I can't read. And she was like, it's okay, there's pictures.
I told you I can't read.
Yeah. So they discuss the Mavka a little bit on their way home, how neither one of them know where they came from, and they don't really remember anything before they ate their first animal and got their skull. Whatever animal you eat first is what gives you your skull, and then whatever animal you eat second is what gives you your horns. So Orpheus ate a wolf and then an antelope, and Tom ate a fox and then a deer. So that's why they look the way they look. I just love that. So, it's so simple. You look like you are what you eat. To a point. Orpheus does not look like a pussy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's up with your head, dude? I ate a fish first and then a turkey second. I wish someone would have warned me.
I wish I had made different choices.
Yeah,
with
choices
my life
were made.
Anyway, so after that conversation, she talks to Tom for a little bit about where he should build his house because he can't build it where he lives now. He lives in a cave, but he lives in the serpent demon's territory, and it will be way too dangerous to build anything there because the serpent demon won't let anything stand. And so Orpheus is like, well, I just killed the arachnid of sorrows last week. You can go live in her territory. You can build it in her territory, and that will make them neighbors. And Orpheus is like, but don't come visit. I don't want you around. And Raya's like, Orpheus, you can't say that to people. That's
don't be
mean.
shitty,
Don't
Orpheus.
be shitty. Yeah. And she explains the concept of friendship to them. Like, they have no idea. Orpheus is like, well, I've got you. I'm set. I'm good. And she's like, you can have more than one friend.
I was going to say, how many times have we had to say that to the 5-year-old?
Oh, absolutely. So many times.
He comes home and is like, I have one friend.
Yeah. I used to be friends with blah, and now I'm friends with blah. You can have more than one friend, my guy. You don't have to pick just one.
Yep.
You can have so many. Anyway, once they finally get home, Tom leaves. They get the house resituated. Tom and Orpheus redo the salt circle. She redoes the trinkets to hang around the house. It's like a nice, quiet little domestic scene.
Mm-hmm. Tom
Tom leaves with all of his stuff to go and build his cabin somewhere. He's just going to start building a cabin. Good for him. And Orpheus and Raya curl up together. He sits on the floor and puts his head in her lap so that she can stroke his skull while she reads him a book.
Yeah.
It's very cute, but he ends up falling asleep. She reads the whole thing to him anyway. After she's done with the book, she falls asleep. And while she's sleeping, she has a horny dream, which wakes Orpheus up because he can smell it. He can smell it because his head's in her lap. And so they head to the bedroom. Down, 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 down. We're finally getting to some dirty stuff. I mean, obviously, we've had some cunnilingus and fingering, but...
Yeah, in hand jobbing.
And hand jobbing, yeah. Before any of that can happen, though, she gives him his present. If you remember from last week, she was making him a present.
Oh, yeah.
And what she ended up making him were 2 strands of beads and bells on twine that she ties onto his antlers like jewelry. And now he has, little bells that ring when he walks around. And he loves them because she made them.
Mm-hmm.
And so every time they ring, he thinks of her. And he's just so delighted that anybody thought to make him a present. So in thanks, he fucks the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you do. I hope he was careful. Jesus Christ.
Swear to Christ. Okay, so we're getting to that part. So they head to the bedroom. He eats her out with extreme gusto, as always. But she's like, no. I'm getting that cock. We're doing this. I think she demands it eventually because he's very hesitant to do anything.
I've always wanted to know what it was like to fuck a stovepipe.
So they get into it. He starts slow because
yeah.
he's huge. And she is enjoying it, but eventually she looks down and realizes he's only half in there.
Yeah, no shit.
And she's like, you promised it would fit. You said it would fit. And he's like, okay, but I have to do this. And he pierces her stomach with his claws to get a couple of drops of blood to do a magic trick that completely rearranges her insides to fit him. So
what the the fuck did I just hear?
Baby, why do you look so disappointed?
I'm not disappointed. I'm confused. The fuck did I just hear?
He has to do a magic spell to make her pussy bigger, is what I said.
R/brand new sentence. Here I come.
So he does that, and now he fits.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! And she is also completely ruined. Like, she can never have another sexual partner again because her vagina is now big enough to fit what Orpheus is rocking.
Oh, it's customized.
Yeah, it's custom pussy.
Oh my god. Oh, that's so much. It's so much to take in. No pun intended.
Honestly, it didn't even shock me that much.
Well,
I've read too much of this stuff.
I was going to say, I haven't. So this is all brand new to me.
Anyway, so then she asks him to like go for it. She wants the whole package, the whole Orpheus deal. Yeah. And she gets just like the dirty talkingest, filthiest, headboard bangingest, giant load of commonest bang of her life.
I hope that magic spell rearranged her lungs too. Everything, just moved everything aside.
Seriously, she's like, I can feel it behind my belly button. I'm like, okay, sometimes it feels that way, but I was like, no, oh no, what about all your organs? You've got like intestines and stuff that are supposed to be there.
Yeah, this is not supposed to be happening.
I mean, it all moves around when you get a baby in there anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So it does, in fact, like move around. All your organs are squishy. But still, holy shit. Anyway, so this was a great scene. Opal, Reyne, you write great porn. Well done. You do a good job.
Which is high praise considering that this book features several of your dislikes.
My dislikes.
Yeah, specifically the smelling of the horniness and the comically large penis.
Yes.
But still.
Yeah, but still. The sex scenes are great. And Orpheus, for all that he is a sweet baby boy, cinnamon roll, never did a thing wrong except ate a bunch of people, is a dirty talker.
Mm-hmm.
And he's filthy. And it's great. Never underestimate the power of the dirty talk in a dirty book. I think that's sort of prerequisite. Anyway, after finishing, he checks in with her and makes sure that she's okay. And she's like, I'm the best I've ever been, man. And his eyes are pink again.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sort of contemplating what that means. And she thinks to herself that it's just so unfair that he is so sweet because it makes it hard to leave him.
Yeah.
Like, girl, you got one of the few good ones. You had to go outside of your species to do it. So don't ask questions.
Pink is post-nut clarity.
Post-nut clarity. I mean, sure. Why not?
I just like the phrase.
The next morning, Orpheus wakes up hard again, and that's unusual for him. He doesn't usually wake up with morning wood, and he feels kind of ashamed about it, so he tries to, like, shove it back in its, like, hidey pouch, but he can't get it to go back in. And she wakes up, and she's like, if you want to have sex, we can have sex. Whenever you want to have sex, we can have sex. So he's like, whenever I want. She's like, I'll say no if I don't want it at the time.
I've seen a lot of parallels here. Between Orpheus and I and you and Ryan.
Yeah. So
minus the magic trick to rearrange your insides.
Giant dick. Yeah. You don't have a comically large, oversized purple penis. His dick is purple, by the way.
Oh,
and the tentacles. Let's not forget there are tentacles as well.
Could we though? Could we forget them, please?
No.
God
also, there's like just a little weird side bit. He has almost like knots at the base, but they don't go in her. That's his testicles. They're not underneath him. They're just like inside, right at the base. Fascinating stuff.
This definitely, I thought the penises in Baby in the Late Night Howlers with the big knot of flesh at the base was weird. Orpheus is just thrust right into the lead.
Hell yeah. Good for you, Orpheus. Look at you. You won. Anyway, so they have sex again. It's slower, more passionate.
point of clarification. Does he have to do the magic trick every time?
No,
or is that, okay.
What's done is done. Her insides are forever rearranged.
I should fucking hope so.
And her guts are also permanently rearranged too. Let's just be fair. He fucks like an animal because he is one.
Yeah.
He, after all of this is done, this was a great scene too. It's very passionate. It's possessive. It's like, tell me this cunt belongs to me, kind of like dirty talking. And it was great. But then afterwards, they're doing their aftercare and cuddling. And he loves her so much. He doesn't know it because he doesn't know what his emotions are. But he loves her so much, and it's just so cute. The next morning,
he asks her, "Baby, what is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
No more."
The next morning, Raya wakes up first, and she realizes that his cock is still inside of her, but not sexually. He just needs to store it in a moist, warm place. So he just left it in her as storage. I was like, I don't like that. I don't know why. I just don't like it.
It's my cock pocket.
Yeah. Cock pocket. Oh, Orpheus goes to like get her breakfast. And when he turns around, she notices that he has a tail. He has like a little deer tail. Instead of what we normally see in tails in our monsters, he has like a little turned up fluffy deer tail. That's just adorable.
That is cute.
He asks her to please not touch it because he doesn't like the sensation of it being touched.
Totally fair.
But he has a tail and it's cute. and it like wiggles when he's happy. It just like does a little thing. It's cute. While Orpheus is gone, Raya contemplates her life. She still has the desire to travel. She still wants to be free, and her idea of freedom is still to travel the world freely, but she always wants to come home. She believes that this is her home now, and she's considering the possibility of giving him her soul, the thing that she thought that she would never do. The problem is that she doesn't want to live forever. That sounds kind of awful to her, and to me too, if I'm being honest.
Oh yeah.
I think I would probably tap out at a couple hundred years. I'd be like, I've seen enough. I can't do this anymore. Goodbye.
Yeah, no, we've talked about that before.
Yeah, we did. We talked about it on the show,
yeah,
on
exactly.
vampire episodes.
Yeah, I am so easily bored.
Yeah.
I would run out of things to entertain myself with, even if I stayed, even at the age of 44. So relatively young, very handsome. I could still, go out and have fun and do all that fun stuff. I still wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
I would just eventually walk right into the sun.
I think I would eventually just be horrified watching the advancement of human civilization. Like sometimes it really just lands in my brain that in say 200 years, our very modern, very viscerally real life will seem like quaint history.
Oh yeah.
And that blows my mind. I don't want to be there for it.
But we'll still have to explain to white people why what they just said was racist. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking God, hope and pray.
We just gotta wait for Gen Alpha Psi Omega to die out. Buddy, we were saying that 200 years ago.
There will always be racists because there are just racists and they suck.
Yeah.
And hopefully maybe by then our trans siblings will finally have a fair shake. I don't know.
We digress
hard. The thing that bothers Raya the most in all of this is the idea that if she doesn't give him her soul, that she will eventually grow old and die, and Orpheus will be alone and he'll be sad, and she doesn't want him to be sad. She just can't be the reason that he's sad, but she's got plenty of time to think about it, so she sort of puts it on the back burner for now, and they go and take a bath together instead. And while they're in the bathtub, Raya asks about the other woman. Last week, in last week's episode, we learned that Orpheus has had a previous lover, that he is not completely unaware of human needs, human sexuality, etc., etc. It's just that it was 200 years ago, and he's forgotten a lot of it since then. But he tells her that she was a very spunky woman that he met while he was hunting humans for food. Like, he broke into her house to eat her, but she tried to fight him, and he was like, I like you. So he kept her. Initially, they lived in a cave, and then she said that she wanted a house, so he built her a house. He cared for all of her physical needs. She was very into like presents. So he got her a lot of stuff, and she taught him how to grow food. He cleared the garden for her. He cleared the whole clearing so that they could get sunlight. And eventually he took her to the demon city because that's where he got all the jewelry and things that he brought home for her. And she wanted to go there. And while they were in the demon city, she met the demon king. And the demon king was interested in her. So he offered her a life away from Orpheus, and she took it. She told Orpheus that she hated him. She hated him the entire time that she was with him. She was thinking about trying to get away from him the entire time. There was just no way to do it. And now that she has an opportunity, she's leaving and he can kick rocks. I was like, bitch.
Seriously.
What a cunt.
Not
to me, it sounds
a
like she was just a greedy, selfish bitch.
Yeah.
And she took the better offer, and she broke Orpheus's heart. Orpheus asks Rhea if she will leave him too. He doesn't want anybody else. If she leaves him, he will choose to be alone forever. He won't ever take another bride, which is just so sad.
Do we have any rough estimate on the lifespan of a Mavka?
As far as I can tell, they're immortal.
Okay.
And they are also nearly unkillable.
Yeah.
After that, they have 5 days of domestic bliss. Rhea bakes cookies. She makes clothes. She makes new decor for the house to replace everything that he got for this other woman because she doesn't want any reminders of her in the house anymore now that she knows who she was. And then one night, Rhea goes to sleep in her own bed instead of going to bed with Orpheus, and he spends the entire evening fretting that she's mad at him. So he goes into her room and he sits down by her bed and he puts his skull on the bed like a dog.
What are you thinking about?
And he wakes her up and goes, "Why are you mad at me?" And she's like, "I'm not mad at you. I'm fucked out. We have so much sex now. I just need a break."
Yeah, I just wanted to sleep
So
without a fucking tractor trailer exhaust pipe in my cooch. Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Like, Groucho Marx said, "I love my cigar, but I take it out every once in a while."
He thinks, he's like, I thought we were having a perfectly reasonable amount of sex. We could be having more sex. If it were me, I would be having even more. And she's like, "No, I'm so tired."
Again,
buddy, I'm so tired.
It feels like Opal Reyne is like writing our life.
Seriously, when I read that line, I was like, "Is this my husband?"
Swear to God, minus the cartoonishly large cock.
And the fact that you are a human being.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
that's minor.
So he's like, "Oh, okay, you just don't want to have sex. That's fine, but I want to snuggle. Can we just cuddle?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, sure, climb on in." So he climbs into her bed and they fall asleep.
Hop in, Super Chief. Let's go.
The next day, Orpheus has gone to the river to get water, and Rhea is practicing her sword again. She has gotten significantly better in just a few days because she has this book now. And while she's practicing, she realizes that there's a presence there with her. She turns around and she finds what I have described in my notes as a beefy demonic fuckboy.
A BDF.
So he is almost too handsome for his own good. Like, he's handsome in a way that makes him look unnatural.
Yeah.
He's like red and black, but mostly humanoid, jacked and cut. Like, there's no fat on his body.
Yeah, you can be jacked.
He's got like an 8-pack. He's completely covered in like so much gold jewelry. Looks like a total asshole. Acts like a total asshole. And he's shirtless. Because, sure, why not? You just wander around shirtless.
You worked hard for that. You want to show it off.
He offers her salvation. He says that he is her salvation. He is going to give her a chance to go home, to escape Orpheus. She refuses. She tries to run into the house, but she can't get there because he teleports to grab her, because this is Jabez, the Demon King, and he has magically kidnapped her. Yeah.
What the fuck has this guy got against Orpheus?
We're getting there.
Oh,
We're
good.
getting there. But he has some serious bones to pick with Duskwalkers in general. So he has abducted Rhea. Rhea screamed for Orpheus before she disappeared, but she couldn't even get the whole name out before he literally just poofs them away, like just teleports them away. He gets back to the clearing like moments later, Orpheus does, and briefly he thinks that Rhea left intentionally because the last time this happened, the Demon King took his girl and she went willingly. This is the point where we get a name for this girl. This woman's name was Katerina. She lived with him for 5 years before she did that to him. Yeah. Oofta. He really wants to believe, though, that she is not, that Raya is not like Katerina, because Katerina was a selfish woman who barely tolerated him, and she was really only there for the presents. Like, at some point he's like, and then he realizes that she never actually smiled at him. She only ever smiled at the stuff he gave her, because she was a financially abusive piece of shit.
And Orpheus was a sweet simp.
And Orpheus was a sweet simp who just thought he was just trying to make her happy. Then he finds Raya's protective diadem on the ground, and he thinks, oh no, she threw it on the ground, but he realizes that like the pins that are in it have like clumps of hair in them. So she didn't take it off intentionally. It was ripped off of her head. Mm-hmm. She has been taken, and he just full on sprints directly toward the Demon King's castle. That is a 4-day walk, and he knows that he can do it in 1. Mm-hmm. So he just goes. He'll be there as soon as he can. Raya and Jabez materialize in his throne room, and she is met by a beautiful woman who obviously has a very complicated and very horny relationship with Jabez. They both seem to be obsessed with Orpheus, but in like an evil way.
Is it Jabez or Javez?
Jabez. Jabez.
Okay, got it.
I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, because I know that is a name in Latin America.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify, because I didn't want to start calling him Javez and it'd be Jabez.
Oh, it's Jabez. Jabez.
Carry on.
They are they have intentionally abducted Raya in order to lure Orpheus there, and they have been magically watching them since they first left her village. However long ago it was that they left her village, they've been watching the entire time, and she's like, ew, icky. But they can't see inside the house because the trinkets that he makes to protect the house also keep the spying eyes of the magical demon assholes out. And so at least that is safe. They don't know that she is willingly having sex with Orpheus.
Well, didn't she jerk him off in a lake outside the house? Like, wasn't there
she jerked him off in a river? Yeah. No, he flicked her bean in a river.
Oh.
They might not have been watching at that point, because that was just like the day before.
All right.
Or a couple of days before. Jabez is half elf and half demon, and he has incredible magic power. He's the most powerful demon in the realm. He is the foreshadowed powerful creature from episode 1 of this that I talked about.
Gotcha.
The woman that he is with is decked out in gold and fine clothes. She refers to herself as his concubine, and she leads Raya through the castle to a bedroom where she's already drawn a bath. This woman treats Raya like she is a survivor of something horrible. Like, she just expects her to be grateful that she no longer has to live in fear. She asserts that Raya has been sexually assaulted this whole time, that this was not her choice. She treats her like a victim.
She's gaslighting her.
I don't think she's even gaslighting her. I think she just truly believes that no one would be with Orpheus for any reason other than pure survival. Mm-hmm. That no one would be there with him willingly. And then she like tells her that her clothes are ugly and like a couple of other like really horrible things. She's just got this terrible mean girl energy about her. So Raya takes the longest bath she possibly can, and when she comes out, she's like, fuck, she's still here. She's sitting there waiting for her, and that's when she reveals herself to be Katerina.
Yep,
obviously we all expected that one. She is completely self-obsessed. She is a total narcissist. She believes that Orpheus has been trying to replace her for the last 200 years, and that Orpheus would rather have her than any other person that he has been with in the last 200 years.
Save for the fact that he hasn't once tried to come get her in 200 years.
Yeah. Because she told him to leave. She told him to fuck off because she hated him. Why in the world would he try to come get her?
He'll be back any day now. Don't you worry.
Seriously. Jabez has been keeping her alive with magic this entire time.
Ooh, she's a lich.
Yeah, sort of. She also is generally pissed off that the spell to reshape her body, because she also got the rearrangement spell from Orpheus, has made it impossible for her to take any other lover but the Demon King, because human penises no longer even touch the walls, basically.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like a hot dog in a hallway.
Yeah, she's like, it's just completely unsatisfying. You're going to be so upset when you first try to have sex with someone else. Throughout all of this conversation, Raya's sort of contemplating like the person that she thought Katerina was versus the person that Katerina actually is. And she realizes that Katerina's memories of Orpheus and the time that she was in his house are completely clouded by her fear and her disgust. She never saw him as anything more than an animal who was keeping her captive. But back then, she thinks Orpheus was pretty much like Tom, that he was kind of dumb, just not as worldly and educated. And so she's like, I guess Katerina spent 5 years with Tom. I can understand why she might think that he was an animal, because Tom's so much more animalistic than Orpheus is. After Katerina shuts up about herself for 5 fucking seconds, Raya decides that she's going to continue to play the victim so that Katerina will keep telling her stuff and she can keep getting more information about what's coming. So she just acts really grateful and quiet and small, and that's about as much subterfuge as she can manage in this situation. They go to dinner. The Demon King and Raya and Katerina have dinner, and the Demon King gives some background on why the demons are even here. He's the one who opened the portal from his realm into the human realm 300 years ago. He widened the canyon. It's a canyon. That's what the veil is in. I thought it sounded like a crater. I think it's the Grand Canyon. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it's the biggest fucking canyon we got.
Yeah, like he widened it. He grew all of the trees. He grew the veil and created the smoke around it to keep the demons safe. And he expressly did this so that they could get stronger and smarter, so they could go back through the veil, so that the demons, so that Jabez could start a war with the elves, because he's from the elvish world. He is half elf and half demon, and the elves hate him and the demons hate him, and so he's going to start a war. And he's doing that by building an army of demons, by letting them feast on humans until they're strong enough to go back, basically. And the reason why he hates Duskwalkers is because they are uncontrollable and they won't fight for him. And if they won't do what he wants, he'll just kill them all. Like, that's it.
Just petty as fuck.
He's a petty, narcissistic little shit.
Yeah.
He's an angry, sad boy who stomps his feet when he doesn't get his way. Yeah, that's basically it. And he's kept Katerina around mostly because she's better at sex than any demon. So he just keeps her. He doesn't really care about her.
Yeah.
But he does give her lots of presents and stuff.
Well, yeah. I was going to say, I'm imagining Jabez now with like that early aughts, like third wave emo haircut where you can't see their eyes.
Oh my God. Yeah. He's got horns too, like curly little ones that come out of his forehead. He could be every abusive emo fuckboy from 2009.
Yeah.
So what is happening is they are planning to kill Orpheus. They spent years torturing another Duskwalker, trying to figure out how to kill them, because no matter what you do to them, their body will completely regenerate after 24 hours.
Right.
They do a Deadpool, but fast.
Yeah.
So they cut off the demon's head. They've cut off Orpheus's head in the past. And after 24 hours, they just regrow their bodies.
Just pop.
Yep. The demon that they tortured was the ram-horned demon, is all they say. He's the ram-horned one. He's from book 3. So I'll read about him eventually. But before they had a chance to actually kill him, because they did figure out how to kill a Duskwalker, before they had a chance to actually test their theory, the witch owl saved him. So thanks, witch owl, always sweeping in to save the day. We really appreciate you. But the only way to kill them is to decapitate them and then crush their skull. As long as their skull is intact, they will regenerate. But if their skull is broken, then they're dead.
Okay.
Once she finds out what they're planning on doing to Orpheus, her fear spikes and the jig is up. They now know that she actually cares about him, that she was having sex with him on purpose, and that she has been lying the entire time to get more information. Katerina is really angry about being lied at, and also because she truly believes that Orpheus wants her more than anyone else. And the fact that Raya could be the person he's coming for is too much for her to handle. She really thinks that once he gets there, he'll just be like, Katerina, I missed you so much. And she basically says that, like, now watch when he comes in the door, he's not going to give a shit about you. He only cares about me. He's only ever cared about me. Bitch, you are delusional.
Yeah.
Absolutely delusional.
At best.
Katerina demands that Jabez, like, contain Raya in a cloaking spell in the corner so that she can watch what happens. So basically what the plan is for Raya to watch Katerina kill Orpheus, and then Katerina's gonna watch Jabez eat Raya alive. That's the plan.
It's a terrible plan.
It's a terrible plan, right? But it's an evil person plan, and these people are evil. So
yeah, no shit.
there you go. These people are completely fucked up. Jabez grabs Raya, pulls her into a corner, gets the cloaking spell going, and then Orpheus comes in the room, and a bitchin' fight ensues. I mean, first Katerina really does try to be like, she left, she went with the Demon King, she replaced me, I'm so sorry, I never should have left you, take me home with you, etc., etc., also that she can get his guard down so she can stab him in the skull. But
I know that it would be wildly anticlimactic, but I would have loved it if Orpheus just came into the room and Katerina's like, Orphe, and he just comes over and just like rips her in half.
Yes.
Just like just right in half, done. And then
that would be so great. That would have been so great. But no, so he doesn't want anything to do with her. He's like, where's Raya?
Yeah.
Where is she? Where is she? No matter how many times she tries to convince him that Raya left, he doesn't believe it.
Yeah.
So she gets pissed, and Raya breaks out of Jabez's hold and through the cloaking. So she just like pop, comes out of nowhere because Katerina's behind him with a dagger. She's getting ready to stab him in the head. Mm-hmm. And she tackles Katerina, and so begins the fight. Orpheus and Jabez fight. They are perfectly equally matched because Jabez has teleportation magic, and he can teleport even if he's being held. Mm-hmm. So every time Orpheus bites into him, like he takes chunks out of him, he just teleports away. But Orpheus is faster and stronger than he is. So they could do this all day.
Yeah.
They could do this forever. Katerina and Raya have a sword fight. It's not what's focused on in the scene because it's from Orpheus's perspective, but every once in a while he mentions that she's still back there fighting for her life until eventually she stabs Katerina through the chest, sword all the way through, breastbone to spine. She kills the bitch. She dead.
Good.
And Orpheus immediately runs to Raya as soon as she is free of distractions. All he wants to do is leave. He's willing to let Jabez just go because he knows he can't beat him. Mm-hmm. But Jabez is mad because his human has been taken away. And in revenge, he chucks the dagger that was on the ground and hits Raya square in the back. Mm. And Raya is dying. And once the pool of blood is big enough, Orpheus spontaneously manifests a dome of protective magic around them so Jabez can't attack. That's when we start to learn, and is confirmed later, that his magic is whatever he needs at the time. He doesn't know how to do a spell until he needs to be able to do a spell.
Interesting.
So he needed to be able to be with Raya and protect her while she was dying. So he made this perfect dome for her. And they're inside the dome. She's dying. He has to watch. And eventually she's like, I can't do this to him. I can't leave him all alone forever. So she offers him her soul. She pulls it out of her chest. Like she feels that like a hot sensation and in her breastbone, and she pulls out a tiny little Raya made out of fire.
Oh, okay.
It's not just like a little Raya. That would be really cute too. She's a tiny little Raya, and she's made out of fire, and her hair floats like the Little Mermaid, which I think is super cool. And then as soon as she presents it to him in her palm, it hugs his snout and he eats it.
I was going to say, again, it would be a great just misdirect when he's just like, this is a wonderful moment, and then he just like jams it in his maws.
It's exactly what he does. He snatches it up and he eats it. And then she dies, and she turns into ash and dust in his hands. And he is furious and sad and mourning and completely insane with grief, and he attacks Jabez and he eats his arm. Like, he does a pretty good job of fighting him in that moment. Until Jabez is like, get the fuck out of my kingdom. He opens a portal and just kicks him through it, and Orpheus is back home. But he is still completely insane with grief, so he just runs off. He runs into the woods and he tries to find her. He can hear her calling, but he can't see her. He doesn't know where she is, but he's convinced that if he goes to the right place, he'll find her. He doesn't know where that is, but he's convinced he'll find her. Raya wakes up, and she is, I thought this was super cool, by the way. So again, golf claps to Opal Reyne for this concept. She wakes up. She's lying down, but she's floating in the air above Orpheus, and he's like dragging her along. And she looks down at him. She can't get his attention. She can't get him to stop. So eventually she's like, I wish that I had a body so I could grab him. And she immediately sinks down to the ground and she becomes corporeal. But Orpheus has already run away. Like, he's not paying any attention. And as soon as she's corporeal, a demon notices her and eats her alive. And then she wakes up and she's lying there floating above his head. And she eventually gets his attention. Like, she figures out how to float down in front of him and get his attention. And she's like, I'm fine. I swear I'm fine. And he thinks that she's not real, or that she's a ghost, or that he's just completely insane because he can't touch her. And she's like, no, I can become corporeal, but we have to go home first because it's not safe for me to be out here. I'll get eaten again. I don't want to get eaten again. I didn't like that very much. So they go home and she becomes corporeal. She realizes from looking in the book that the witch owl gave her that she is now a phantom, half human and half spirit, with the ability to become either one at will. She can become incorporeal whenever she wants. She doesn't have to die to become a ghost again. She just has to think it, and she will be untouchable. She is truly unkillable. She can't die. And the little Raya that she gave him now lives like on top of his head. I don't know if everybody can see it or if just she can see it, but it lives on top of his head.
Buddy, you got a little...
You got a little lady up there.
Get a napkin? Get that out. Oh, no, it's my girlfriend.
Yeah, it's my girlfriend. She's like attached to his horns with like ethereal darkness or something. She's tied to him, and I think it's fascinating. She doesn't look upset about it though. She's just like sleeping peacefully on top of his head. When they get back, she shows him what she can do, and then she's like, and now if you want me, you're gonna have to chase me. And they do some primal play. She's trying to get him. His eyes are so blue because he's still so sad.
He needs enrichment, so she's gonna let him chase her.
And he's also crying, which is really, really sad. So when he cries, basically what happens is the bottom of his eye orbs crack and the light just trickles out. Oh, it's so sad. It's cool sounding, but it's really
that's awesome.
Sad.
It's so cool but it's also creepy. It's like, give me the squicks, but I like it.
So she just really, what she's trying to do is get him out of his sads. She's trying to enrich him. Yeah. She's getting out the laser pointer. And
exactly.
Every time he catches her, she disincorporates and then runs away again. And they do that over and over, and he gets mad until eventually his eyes are red. And then she's like, good, he's not sad anymore. He's mad. He can't hurt me. So let him be mad. She's basically helping him work through the like 5 stages of grief, but they stop at 3, and 3 is just horny. Because eventually she's like, when you catch me, you got to put your cock in me immediately, or we're doing this again. Like, we're just going to keep doing this until you fuck me. And so eventually they do. And they fuck right there in the middle of the clearing. Spying eyes of the demon king be damned. And it is like fully, oh, okay, we're fucking an animal right now. Okay. Yeah. When they're finally done, she basically can't move. She's like underneath him and she's completely shattered. She can't move her legs anymore. Like the whole thing, he carries her inside. And while they're like snuggle, and afterwards he asks her to make him new bells because Katerina pulled one of his bells off and told him that they were tacky and ugly, and he's like, fuck you. So she makes him some new ones. That night while they're having a cuddle, he tells her that he is no longer insatiably hungry all the time anymore. After he ate her soul, he is finally fulfilled, which is just really cute. They have sex again. This time Raya sticks her hand in his cock pouch and like feels around in there.
It's rooting around.
Yeah, just like bobbing for cocks inside of the cock pouch. And I couldn't handle it.
No, I can't either.
Until eventually she rides him and he's like, this is the best. He was so happy. The only problem there is that the tentacles always wrap around her hips, and so she couldn't move. So she had to like resituate herself until they could wrap around her ankles instead. It was very strange, but clever workaround to the problem. So good job, Raya. You figured it out. Raya sticks her hand in his cock pouch, which made me shiver like Chihiro in Spirited Away when she stomps on the slug. Like there's a scene in Spirited Away where the shivers go all the way up from her feet to her head, and that's exactly what happened to me. I was like, I don't want to have anything to do with the cock pouch. No, thank you. No, thank you. They have after they are done. Or no, while they're in the middle of it, she asks him if he loves her because she has already told him that she loves him. And he's like, I don't know what that feels like.
Does it feel like this?
I have no
right
idea
now?
what that feels like. And first of all, she's delighted because that means that he never loved Katerina. But then she explains it to him and he's like, oh yeah, I definitely love you. Yeah. And then his eyes turn pink. When his eyes turn pink, it's because he loves her so much that he's feeling it. And that's, oh my God, that's so cute. The next evening, because they spent the entire day sleeping after fuck marathon, she wakes up to find a white feather on her windowsill. So she goes out into the clearing and talks to the witch owl in human form. The witch owl is an incredibly beautiful black woman who wears a white gown and a white cloak. The witch owl gives some of the information that we have not had this entire time that we need. So the witch owl gave her soul to the spirit of darkness in exchange for magic and immortality. She also had sex with the spirit of darkness, and she birthed the Duskwalkers. She's their mom.
Oh, wow.
And she has been traveling around the Vale, helping them in, her vague and magical way that she does. They don't know that she's their mother, but she helps all of them the best that she can and makes sure that they're safe. She tells Raya that now that Orpheus is safe and happy, and now that she is a phantom, she is part spirit and part human, just like Orpheus is part spirit and part human. So she should be careful because now he can knock her up. And she should be wary of birthing more darkness if she doesn't want that for herself. And that's about it. She flies away. Yeah. She's got to go. She's got another son to take care of. She has all sons. And this is only because the gender of a Duskwalker is determined by the first person they eat. And every single one of them ate a man first. Yeah. That's all it is. Raya goes inside. She tells Orpheus, we got to be careful because I don't want to get pregnant yet. But it's okay because she started her period while she was talking to the witch owl. So hooray.
Motherfuck, man. First of all, I can just imagine Orpheus going, what's pulling out?
He actually does offer. He's like, I just won't come in you for a while. It'll be fine.
Yeah, but the idea that she's dead and she's half phantom, half human, but she still has to get a fucking period. That's got to be a real kick in the knackers.
Honestly, the most annoying thing is that she's going to live forever.
With a period?
With a period. Because she's never going to get any older. Once a month for eternity, I would rather die.
No shit.
I am counting down the days to menopause at this point. I got my tubes tied. I can't make babies. Why do I still have to do the bleeding thing? I'm doing it right now, and I'm annoyed by it. So annoyed by it. That explains why my back hurts so much, though.
Yeah.
So she tells Orpheus they will not be having... One of the things the witch owl told her was that Orpheus can spontaneously create magic. He just needs to know what the spell is, and he needs to be desperate enough. So she tells Orpheus they're not having sex again until he can figure out a birth control spell.
That he'll figure that shit out like yesterday.
I think it takes him a week. But she just needs to motivate him the right way. So she does. That is the end of our story, but there is an epilogue. A few days later, Orpheus is hunting for deer at the top of the Vale. He misses Raya, but he knows that she's safe at home and nothing can ever hurt her again. And while he's hunting, he suddenly hears Orpheus and turns around and she's there. Because it's been 24 hours since he left her, and just like a healing limb, he can't be separated from her for any reason. So after 24 hours, she's coming too. Wherever he is, she will always be there.
She's just sitting on the toilet having a poo, and next thing you know, she's shitting in the woods. And Orpheus is just staring down the barrel. What the fuck is going on here?
So she's like, I was eating breakfast and now I'm hungry. What the fuck? But she's also happy to learn that no matter what happens, they can't be separated at all. He picks her up and they begin to walk toward her village, because at some point in this book, she told him about a bullying incident she experienced in her teens, where her bully, whose name is Chad. Yes. Pause for effect. His name is Chad. Chucked a big rock at her.
Katerina, Orpheus, Raya, Chad. Jabez,
exactly. And the witch owl.
Yeah.
So her bully chucked a rock at her head and knocked her unconscious. And during that conversation where she told Orpheus about that, he was like, I'll kill them all. I'll kill them all for you. And he picks her up. He starts walking towards the village. And she's like, where are we going? He's like, I told you I would kill them all for you. We're going to your village. We're pretty close. We'll be there soon. And she's like, you know what? There were 3 of them involved in that incident, but we're just going to kill Chad. Okay?
And that's how Orpheus learned compromise.
Yeah. But she's fully on board for murdering this guy. And she's like, but what do we do with him? Because she doesn't want him to eat any more people. She doesn't want him to be any more advanced than he is already. She likes him the way that he is. Yeah. And she goes, you know what? We'll feed him to Tom. He needs some learning. We'll feed him to Tom. Then as they're walking, they discuss traveling. Raya wants to travel. They can definitely travel now because they can't be killed.
Yeah.
No matter what. And he's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. But she decides that they're going to wait for 10 years because that will be the next time he will be able to do the protection spell like he did at the beginning of the book on her village. And that way they can protect their home while they're gone. And Orpheus loves that she is willing to wait to protect the place that he loves so much before she goes on her adventures with him. And that is the end of the book. And I had so many feelings.
Yeah.
I loved this book so much. I loved it. I did. And I want to start the second one right now because I need to know what happens with Tom.
Yeah.
Also, the second book is a plus size romance. So fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're going to, yeah.
I'm always down to hear.
Tom's going to fuck a fat girl.
I was just going to say, I am on the record. Fat girls are good. Fat girls getting railed, better.
Yes. So I will be getting that one, and I am very excited to get that one. But for now, I am taking a break because there were a lot of feelings in this book, and I need to be separate from those feelings for a while. Thank you so much for listening to me tell this story for 3 weeks.
It was an absolute pleasure. I had a blast. I mean, this is the best way for me to consume. I've made this joke before about how I don't really listen to podcasts. I just have a wife that listens to all of them, and then she just tells them to me.
Yep.
This is the best way for me to, instead of you saying, read this book, read this book, read this book, read this book, just you reading them.
Yeah.
And then me listening to you explain them. And I love it. And more than anything, I love how much you love this. And dear listener, for the last 3 weeks, she has been reading this book religiously at a speed to facilitate the podcast, but never once has she ever expressed any displeasure with the fact, like, she was enjoying it the entire time.
Oh, I was.
Which is is a testament to this book, and I had a blast. I think, like I said, I relate to Orpheus more than any character that you've ever read about and explained to me. I do see a lot of myself in him, and I see a lot of parallels in the relationship, comically large cock aside.
Yeah.
So it was really, for me, it was great to hear how much you loved Orpheus and seeing the parallels between me and Orpheus and feeling extra loved.
Oh yeah. You're a lot like Orpheus, and I saw it from the beginning, and it's probably part of the reason why I love these books so much, is because the Duskwalkers are basically you.
Yeah. But I will say that I think you should get the next book, and I think you should save it for 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, when we go on vacation.
We go on vacation. So this is the first time we're mentioning it. So this episode is going to be coming out on Monday, June 12th. We will have an episode on Monday, June 19th, but we will not have an episode on Monday, June 26th, because you and I have a work thing that you will be joining me on in Las Vegas. And so we just decided, instead of like trying to do 2 episodes and drop one while we were gone, we're just going to take a week off.
Hell yeah.
You can read for pleasure. I have to be doing all the work stuff for 3 straight days. You have jack shit to do.
Exactly. I'm literally going to be sitting in a hotel room reading a book in the quiet.
Yep.
Maybe I'll find a pool to do the same. That's it.
Yep.
That's all I want.
So I think saving that book for then would be a good idea.
Yes.
And you have not chosen a book for next week.
Well, I was actually going to ask you because I have 2 options.
Okay.
I've downloaded them both. But I'm just going to ask you if you have a preference. I have a bully romance, and I have a romance that's sort of centered around video games.
I'm definitely going to take that one.
All right.
Because I hate bullies.
Yeah.
And I love video games.
So next week, we are reading Glitch by Brianna Michaels.
All right.
It's got a shit ton of good reviews, and I specifically Googled hottest smutty novellas, and this was on the list. So we're going to be reading a lot of sex. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and this feels like, I know, like we've had, like when we have guests on, we try to like have a book that kind of ties tangentially to something they're familiar with or whatever. So it feels kind of like that, because when I'm not recording podcasts or working or spending time with my family, I'm playing video games.
Yes.
I'm an avid gamer, unabashedly so. And so it feels like I'm a guest on my own podcast.
Absolutely. So next week, Glitch by Brianna Michaels. Yes, say the name right, Catherine. Brianna Michaels. And I look forward to getting started because it's supposed to be great. Reviews alone say that it's fantastic. It's got 4.5 stars.
Oh, damn.
On Amazon, which is impressive.
That's no small feat.
Yeah, because even the big, bad, great books have like usually 4 stars.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to it. I look forward to it. But until then, and I can't remember how I do this.
You can find us on...
Oh, thank you. I am so beat. You can find us on all the major podcasting platforms. You can find us on social media. That's how I started, at Cheap Smut. We are on TikTok and Instagram, mostly TikTok. If you feel like you want to email us, you can email us, cheapsmutpod@gmail.com. The music you hear in this and every episode of the show so far is called Nostalgia by Mackay Beats, and you can find it along with thousands of other songs free of charge for your use at freemusicarchive.org. And when you do go find us on those major podcasting platforms, please be kind and rate, review, and subscribe.
Absolutely. In the meantime, listener, if there's a book in you, write it. And if there's fucking in it, I'll read it.
And then she will come on this show and explain it to me for your entertainment.
Now my husband needs to go rest.
Fuck yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.